Hey guys, how's it going? Tighten Uprising. Thank you for tuning in and watching the video. It's Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to all of you dads out there. And we appreciate what you do every day. Maybe it goes unnoticed, maybe it does go noticed. Either, we appreciate it. The world can't go, around without some good dads out there. And keep it going, guys. I appreciate you guys. I hope everything is well with you. I hope you had a great Father's Day. I'm a father for the past 10 months. It's a very cool experience, something that, I always imagined in my head, but I never really, I guess I didn't imagine it correctly because it's not what I thought it would be. It's not always like what you would see in a TV show or a movie. It's very unique. It's very different. I'm blessed with a great son, sleeps throughout the night, happy as can be, and he's a great kid. He's definitely going to make us have a second one, and it's a cool experience. So, hey, we appreciate you fathers out there. Keep it going. Keep your head up. You're doing a great job. Now, today's video, I wanted to get into 3 underrated Titans players on the offensive side of the football. I did a breakdown on 3 underrated defensive players. Now this is going to be on offensive players. Now we'll get right into the first one here, and this is going to be Kyle Phillips. So last year, he had 6 catches for 66 yards in his first game as a rookie against the New York Giants. Guys, I thought we were going to win that game, and it sucks we didn't. But it is what it is. Man, I'm still bummed out about that. I still thought we were going to win that game. But hey, we didn't, and he figures to be our slot wide receiver, and he added some muscle in the offseason. And this guy should be able to stay healthier. Just the added muscle, his second year in, he knows his body a little better. He's able to train with NFL, strength conditioning coaches. Someone could argue that the Titans might not have the greatest strength and conditioning coaches because we're hurt all the time, but it's still a step up from the college football level. I think Kyle Phillips will see the field this year a little more. He has to because he didn't see the field at all last year. So even if he plays 5 or 6 games, that's more than he did last year. So he figures to slot in as our slot wide receiver, and we need him to. And I'll pop up on the screen here a little quote here, and it says Kyle Phillips, he got a good feel for running routes, winning his routes, and being able to utilize his short yardage quickness. You see similar traits with Mason Kinsey, his ability to play inside the formation, be able to get into different matchups with different types of players. And this is what offensive coordinator Tim Kelly said on Tuesday. And he also said, so all these guys, especially those who fit that mold, will allow us to take advantage of different matchups if the opportunity presents itself. So I like what he said there. The only thing I dislike is that he brought up Mason Kinsey. I'm not a huge Mason Kinsey fan. I'm not a huge NWI fan. I think those guys should eventually fall off our roster. If we had a good wide receiver core, they would not be on our roster, but our wide receiver core sucks. So they are on our roster. But you like seeing what Tim Kelly had to say. And hey, I'm just thinking positive here. Maybe a guy like Mason Kinsey can do something different in the offensive scheme, like Tim Kelly's bringing in, compared to someone like a shitty Todd Downing. And hey, that's the second time I ever swore on the show, so I apologize for that. Todd Downing really brings out the worst in me. So there's that. I hate Todd Downing. Don't know why the Jets hired him, but hey, don't learn. But I have high hopes for Phillips here. We really need him to slot into our slot wide receiver and contribute to our wide receiver core. And I hope that he does. We really need him too. Now, my next guy here, for the second of the third guys that I think will be under the radar guys for the offense that will contribute a lot. And this is our rookie, Josh Weil. So he'll probably start off as our tight end 3, but if he improves in the pass blocking department, he could become our tight end 2. And he had this to say, and I'll pop this up here for you. And it says, the staff has done a really good job just kind of slowing the game down, explaining things in detail, Weil said. Just learning from the older guys. They've been here, they've done it, just trying to follow in their footsteps. Now, Weil admitted that there is a lot of work involved in his transition to the NFL, but believes any player who focuses on and improves at three things will separate themselves. Now, he says here, there's a lot of work to do, and I can really see that just from where I'm at now. I mentioned about the details. That's a big thing when you get to this level. Everybody's good, but it's the technique, the fundamentals, and details that can really separate you. I do not disagree with him. I like the attitude that's coming from a young gun here as our rookie. I love to see it. We really need him to take that next step. I think our tight end, and I posted a video on this, guys. If you have not watched that yet, please do. I think our tight end core this year, our tight ends in general, are going to be very underrated. And a lot of it has to do with, one, I think we have the talent at the tight end position. Two, I think our scheme will play into that a little bit. I think we're going to be doing going back to a little bit more play action, 2 wide receiver, 2 tight end sets. And then, third, we got, Kelly calling the offense. And then I think we have more talent at the tight end position this year. So there's a lot of things going for us at the tight end position this year. I'm very excited for it. So don't sleep on Josh Weil. Maybe he has 30 catches for 400 yards or something like that this year, and I'll take it from a rookie. We're gonna have him and Chig. 2 young, solid tight ends going forward, and I like it. I really do. And especially because our wide receiver core is not what it should be. And if Hopkins comes, which I've posted multiple videos on that, if Hopkins does come to the Tennessee Titans, frees up the tight end position even more. So let's hope that happens. Let's get into our third and final guy here on the offensive side of the ball that's going to fly under the radar. And this is my biggest one flying under the radar here. And it's Brunskill. Daniel Brunskill, guys. So he's 29 years old. He's a vet. He's played all over the offensive line. I mean, he'll bring the vet experience that we need, and the presence on our offensive line that we're lacking this year. Remember, we don't have a vet like Ben Jones or Taylor Lewan anymore. They're gone. We need a vet on our offensive line like this guy. Our returning starter is NPF, and he was a rookie last year. You guys could say Aaron Brewer if you want, okay. And you could argue it if you want, but he was not the starter. It was Ben Jones. Ben Jones got hurt, and then Brewer took over. So our only returning starter is a second-year guy. We need the vet. We need a 29-year-old here like Brunskill. And I'm going to pop up a little write-up here of his strengths. Now it says right here, he's susceptible to playing really poorly at times. Oops, that is not the strength. Apologize for that, guys. It says right here, Brunskill's biggest strength is his versatility. He played 4 positions for the 49ers along the offensive line, including both tackle spots and center. But he settled in nicely as their starting right guard in 2020 and 2021. He was durable and dependable and a good enough athlete to effectively get outside on screens and runs. Now, I did mess up there, and I started reading some weaknesses. I'm not going to pop up on the screen for you, but I will read it really quick. It says he's susceptible to playing really poorly at times. There were stretches in 2021 where it felt like the Niners needed to replace him right away. He gets beat in pass protection, and despite a nice performance versus Aaron Donald once, he struggles against the top interior lineman in the NFL. Over the course of a full year, he's a fine player, but there will be some rough patches that really stick out. A big key for him is he has to play guard. He really wasn't as good at center when he played there, so mark that down as a weakness too. He can play center, but that shouldn't be his primary role. All right. Hey, the goal here is not to have Brunskill as our center. The goal here is to have Brewer as our center. So if he ends up being our right guard, we're okay. That's what we want him to be. But the fact that he can play all over the offensive line is a strength. And we've been looking for that almost on both sides of the ball, guys. I mean, we're looking for guys that can play multiple positions. And I don't know if maybe that's because of the schemes we want to play. Defense, I agree with, because defense, we will throw different fronts at you. We want to drop a guy back like Tier Tart, which is absolutely bonkers when you think about it, and he gets this interception, which is that's still crazy. If you haven't seen that, you guys gotta watch that. And we want to do stuff like that. That throws offenses off, that throws young quarterbacks off, and we're going to be doing things like that this year, especially because we're going to be facing Anthony Richardson twice a year. We're going to be facing C.J. Stroud twice a year, and they're rookies, guys. So we got to confuse them. Got to throw some weird stuff at them. So I like that we do that on the defensive side of the ball. So I also feel like we're doing it on the offensive side of the ball because I'm a firm believer we're going to take the best 5 that we can put out there and we're going to start them. Doesn't matter where they're going to be at. And I think that's especially true on the left side of the line when it comes to Dillard and Peter Skoronski. So I really do think that's going to be the case there. But don't be surprised if that happens at center. There's a chance that Brunskill ends up being our center. We don't know yet. We got to see how this plays out when it comes to preseason and how training camp goes. And he's been getting looks at both spots. I don't believe Brewer ends up being a guard if he's not our center. I do believe Brunskill will be either guard or center, but Brunskill will end up being a starter on the offensive line. And that's why I think he's flying under the radar. I believe he slots in at right guard, and we keep Brewer as our center. And I think he's going to be a solid right guard spot for us, and he's going to hold his own. And even you guys saw there, his weakness is not to be center, which I don't think he will be. Do I think he could do it? Yes. But the goal, I think, was for us to have him be our right guard with MPF 2 right next to him on the right there as right tackle. So I do believe he's going to be a solid starter for us. He's going to be that piece on the offensive line that's not getting a lot of talk about, which he hasn't been. I think he's going to be a guy that slides in. You don't hear about him much, and that's a great thing. If you're not hearing about an offensive lineman a lot in the game, that means he's doing his job. If you're hearing about the guy, it's because he's either getting into it with somebody like Taylor Lewan used to do, or he's called for holding. The best thing you can have on offensive line is you don't hear their name or number called the whole freaking game. That's it. And that means they're doing their job. Unless they're bringing it up and saying, this guy's shutting down Aaron Donald. And as I taught you, or as I pointed out earlier, he had a great game against Donald, which is the best interior defensive lineman in the NFL. And guess what? He's also going against the second best interior defensive lineman in the NFL in practice every day against Jeffrey Simmons. So I'm really, really high on Brunskill. Phillips is great. He's gonna be catching the ball and he's gonna be catching touchdown passes, and it's a sexy position. Same thing with Josh Weil. He's gonna be catching the football, catching a touchdown, hopefully, and it's a sexy position. The position you guys don't hear about is the offensive line, and the Tennessee Titans have been built on the offensive line for years, and you have to have an offensive line. Derrick Henry can only do so much. You can only get hit in the backfield, at the legs, a yard in the backfield, getting hit in your shin. You can't make that. What are you going to do every play? You're getting hit in the shin and your yard in your own backfield. I don't care who you are. You're not going to have a 2,000-yard season. You have to have a decent offensive line in front of you. And this offensive line is going to be better. And one of the reasons it's going to be better is because of Brunskill. This guy is going to anchor our offensive line, not fully, like he's going to be a stud, but he's going to be a bigger contribution. And hopefully he stays healthy because we've been dealing with injuries over the past 2 years, and we need him to stay healthy. So those are my 3 guys. Like I said, we got Kyle Phillips, Josh Weil, and then we have Daniel Brunskill. And I think the biggest one is going to be Brunskill. He's going to be the one that's not talked about a lot because he's, like I said, he's not a sexy position. But he's going to be the one that matters the most to our offense. If I miss somebody, please let me know. Is there another guy in the offense that you think is going to be more of a contributor that I didn't think of? I mean, there's other guys. I thought, like MPF might take a second-year leap, which I think he does. Do you see 3 guys on the offensive side of the ball that are going to go under the radar? I've seen recent reports about Haskins. Personally, I think Haskins is cut after this year. I just don't see him staying on the team. If you guys have a different story on that, please let me know. If you have a different opinion, please let me know. That's what I think. So, like I said, we'll recap it really quick. Kyle Phillips, Josh Weil, and Daniel Brunskill. Those are the 3 guys that are going to be big contributors to the Tennessee Titans on offense this year, and they're going to be under the radar guys that aren't talked about a lot, and they're going to be key contributors to us. So let me know what you guys think. Comment down below. Appreciate you guys. Happy Father's Day once again. And tighten up, everybody. We'll talk later. See ya.